I am super good. Thank you for joining today. I'm so excited to have this conversation, especially because we haven't talked in a while.
I know. That's the part that I'm most excited about.
Right?
Catching up.
For sure. And so how about we just start off with letting everyone know who you are?
Yeah, so my name's Adriana Garcia. I am a small business owner. My husband and I own Garcia Insurance Agency. I'm also heavily involved with the community, Central Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I am advisory board and for here in Modesto, and I'm also co-chair of the Ambassador Program. And just recently, I know we touched a little bit on this, but just recently I became a Project Analyst for AbleWorks. So I am extremely busy, and I'm loving it.
Oh my gosh, I completely can relate on the busy part of it. But I think, obviously when you really love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. And I know I really enjoy these conversations. They're like the best part of my week because just kind of like, even through COVID, you're probably thinking, Domenica, what do you mean go, go, go? But it's more like just through all these virtual meetings and having to do the back end of being a small business owner. This is the one thing that I'm like, okay, here's where I can just enjoy a good cup of coffee with the girlfriend and have some really good, conversation, or maybe chisme. I don't know.
A little bit of both.
You know. So I like to ask everyone, because we are coffee and conversation, what is your favorite beverage to drink? Is it coffee or is it something else?
You know what? I'd like to think I'm easygoing. If you ask my husband or my kids, they probably wouldn't agree. But I love everything. I like coffee, but I was drinking so much coffee at one point that I decided to be a little bit more healthier. And then I have my mom. My mom is, if you've seen her or you've met her.
Yeah.
Mom is 63 years old, and she believes in taking care of yourself. So she has been green tea. So I have been trying to follow her footsteps, and she looks amazing. I mean, like, why wouldn't I? I'm like, okay, what are you doing now? I'm going to do that.
Right.
So yeah, but I can love that. A little bit of coffee, when I need that extra dose.
Oh, I get that. I tried matcha, believe it or not, for the first time. I think it was last year. And it was by accident because we were at a local coffee shop. And I was with my sister, and we stopped and we ordered drinks. And I didn't realize I had hers and she had mine. Oh. And I'm a big fan of chai latte. And she had it, and then I had her green matcha, and I was drinking it, and I was like, why is this so bitter? Like, they didn't get it right. And she was like, Domenica, oh my God, open the drink. So I'm like, why is it green? Chai is not green. She starts busting out laughing, and she was like, Domenica, I ordered the green matcha. And I was like, oh, give me my drink back. I don't know what this is.
That explains.
I know it's super healthy for you, but yeah. I just for whatever reason, I just couldn't. And then green tea, that tastes a little bit better, but to me, it does have that little bit of the bitter taste. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I don't know about this.
I don't necessarily drink it for the flavor.
Yeah.
Especially because at first when I started drinking it, I would like sweeten it, put a little bit of, just sugar and whatever. And I got scolded. And she says, the reason you're supposed to be drinking tea is so that it's good for you. What's the point of you adding all this kind of sugar? So I've gotten used to drinking it just like that. So right. I don't necessarily drink it for the flavor. Right. Just because my mom told me to.
Oh, no, that's so funny. That reminds me of this time when it was a couple of years ago. And, I have family that's very, has the diabetic DNA. And so just trying to be conscious of it, right? And I was having a salad and I had ranch, cranberries, glazed walnuts, raisins, craisins, and then I, for the life of me, don't remember who was next to me. And then we were joking. We were at that level, and so I didn't get offended or anything. But it was like, Dominica, you do realize that I know you're trying to be very mindful of trying to eat more healthy and eating more greens. But girl, glazed walnuts and cranberry just added tons of sugar.
Yeah,
and actually, it was so
purpose.
right. And I was so actually very thankful that she called me out, because honestly, it really didn't dawn on me. Like, it just didn't click. And, especially, when your mom does the same. And so she's not calling me out. And I was like, oh man, okay. Thanks for the eye-opening epiphany there. And it was funny because then I was the one later that told my mom, hey, that's a lot of XXX on your salad. And she was like, oh, I didn't even like, the light bulb didn't go on with that one.
Yeah.
So funny. But I wanted to dive in and have this conversation because I know there's a lot of going on with small businesses. And I feel like we can help a lot of people just kind of by sharing, what we've gone through and our experience right now through having a small business and thriving through COVID. And so, with Chicana Inc., I launched that a couple of years ago, and having the in-person events is what created revenue for me. And then having this pause button set, I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And so I kind of realized that being a small business owner, you have to be flexible in the way that you get yourself out there. So I just wanted to hear some of your thoughts on what you thought about that.
Flexibility, I think, is most definitely the number one thing that small business owners have to be right now. We do insurance. So obviously we have always been very catering to our clients. And, if you can't come to us pre-COVID, it was, we'll meet you somewhere or we'll go to you or whatever that looked like. But definitely with COVID now, we have had to switch a lot of things. The Zoom thing. And like I was saying earlier, I am not the most tech savvy individual out there. So it has been difficult, to do certain things. But I think it's important to continue to move forward and continue to look for those avenues, because we are definitely not alone. We are one and the same. And a lot of the times I think that business owners and just people in general, we won't necessarily speak on the struggles that we have because I don't know, embarrassment, shame, it's none of your business, whatever it may be. But in doing that, we don't realize that the person next to us is literally going through the same thing. And I think if we have open communication, and that's really a lot of what we're having now, because we're having that conversation, we're having those communications, and we realize we're going through the same thing. So I'm definitely a true believer on helping others. And if something works for you, share it with somebody else. It may work for them. And don't be embarrassed to ask for help or to like, hey, I saw you did this. How can I do that? I think that it's really beneficial, and it just it's betterment for us in general. So, but definitely flexibility is a must. You have to be able to adapt and be flexible and find different ways of connecting, via Zoom, via anything possible.
No, that's so true. And you say an excellent point about also not being afraid to ask, because I've had some people reach out to me in the last couple of months, especially through the platform Instagram, and ask me like, hey, I was kind of nervous in asking you. I know we don't know each other, but I liked how you posted this. Can you walk me through? Or maybe a question on like, what software did I use to do a video? And I will answer the question. And I keep thinking it kind of goes back to the theory of, if, like you said, if you know something, like, share it. Nobody's going to lose over it. There's enough, space for everyone to, get what they need. And it's like, well, if I know something, who am I to keep it to myself? Like, if it can help you and your family. And I feel like that's also what sets you apart from in being a small business owner, because not everybody does it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's really sad that it doesn't happen automatically. I mean, I would almost expect it to, like, hey, this worked for me, here it is. But I think as being Latinos and Latinas and having that pride, like, I'll figure it out. I'll do it on my own. I'll try different things.
Right.
And a lot of the times, I mean, you may figure it out, at the end, but it's like, there's so many people that are willing to help and that will give you the answer easily. But you're right. There's some that may not necessarily want to share that information with you, but you know what? That's okay. If you ask the wrong person, ask somebody else. If you didn't get the answer that you wanted, then ask somebody else, because chances are that you will find that one person that is really willing to help you and is like you, they wouldn't lose anything for helping.
Right. And no, I love that, because, and it's true, if one person says no, well, then keep moving forward. I remember a couple of years ago when I started my entrepreneur journey, I had this challenge through the person that was mentoring me. And she said, Domenica, here's this paper. It had 100 circles, and then each circle was labeled 1 through 100. And she's like, I am challenging you to get 100 no's. And back then it was more of like, pick up the phone and cold call and, call your friends and family and ask them like, hey, if they'd be interested in the product that I was working on at the time. And I was like terrified. I was like, what? 100 no's? That's a lot of no's. Like, I don't get it. Don't I want yeses? But I was so thankful for that exercise, because it really set me up to like not take no for an answer and just kind of like keep going. Yeah. Okay, if that door didn't open, then just go to the next one. And there is especially in this community that I've seen, everybody is so open and willing to help and get out there. And I've seen so much good the last couple of months. I think it was, I saw through social media, was it, you were helping with paperwork for small business loans? Did I see that? I caught a little bit of it.
Yeah. So that was through the Central Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And we were super honored that the county reached out to us. This was the second time that they had done this grant. The first time, not a lot of Latinos were helped. So there was one person that showed up to a meeting and said, well, what did you do to target Latino business owners? And the answer was, we didn't do too much. We didn't do much, So then this opportunity came around, and the county really wanted to reach Latino business owners. So they came to us and several other nonprofit organizations in the community, so that because we had those connections, we could reach out to them, to the business owners, the Latino business owners. And yeah, we were definitely honored. My husband, he is the president of the Central Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And so he came to me and he says, this is, what do you think? And I said, awesome. We can help other business owners. Yeah, why not? So we hit the ground running. We would go walk to different businesses, put our little flyers, and, we did Univision, which doing this, it's so not my thing. I'm so out of my comfort zone with any type of media or videos or just speaking in public in general. It's so not my
Girl, I could not tell. I could not tell. You nailed it. Don't even worry.
Like before I start anything, like the day before, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's coming up. Oh my gosh. But I've learned to do it anyways, with that gut feeling of nervousness, do it anyways. So I told my husband, and he says, well, how do you feel about doing it, an interview in Spanish on Univision? And I'm like, I don't want to. Big picture was we wanted to reach as many business owners as we possibly could. And going door to door was not doing it. It was not going to get us there. So I said, okay, fine. Your perspective, you have to change the way that you think. And at that moment, I thought, okay, this isn't for me. This is going to help business owners. Yes. So as nervous as I am and as difficult as it will be, I will do it. And I did. And it was such a wonderful experience. I mean, it was a roller coaster. It was, I was extremely happy, and then I was extremely sad. It was, I like to do everything 120%. So anything that I do, I invest myself, and I felt like it was just so much. I remember talking to the county and asking them, am I going to find out who got approved? There was some poor people in here that didn't even have an email address, and I know that I'm not tech savvy, but having my mom and knowing like the struggle, like, ¿cómo? ¿A link? ¿Qué link?
I know.
You have to go and do the application. It's hard for a lot of Latinos. And so I would think of my mom all the time. I don't mind doing it at all, but doctor's appointments or setting up things, for her. So to me, it's natural. It's normal. I've done it. And I had some people in here that they actually came to our office because they were like, I can't do it. I don't know. And I said, oh, you know what? That's fine. Come into the office. We'll help you. So for like a week straight, I didn't work insurance at all. I mean, I was just helping.
Just apps, yeah.
Yeah, and it was difficult. The application, it took a while. So yeah, everything was submitted, and then at the end, they actually sent a list of everybody that applied, and then had like a yes, they got it, no, they got it, yes, they got it, no, they got it. So it was. I thought it was done. This was like, a month. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, deadline's done. We tried, everything is done. And then like a couple of weeks later, it's like, okay, they're going to start approving. I'm like, oh, I thought it was over. And then we get the email. And so it was a total roller coaster. I saw the names and I was like, oh my gosh, this person got it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this person didn't get it. And it was like, it was really heartbreaking. And at first, the denial letters went out. Mm-hmm. So it was like, no. And I kid you not, I wanted to cry. I was like, I feel like I'm getting beat up. Like I keep hearing no's. And so I would have to tell these people like, I'm so sorry you didn't, and then, Friday came and they were sending the approval letters. So I reached out to some of the people and I said, hey, keep an eye out, your letter. And then I got my first yes. And I was so excited. I was so excited. And I told the lady, The funny story about that is that this lady actually saw me on
Okay.
Univision, and
Okay.
she called and she says, I don't know if it's true, but there was a girl and she's talking about helping and, you know, for filling out. I was like, yeah, that was me. So we did the application, and
Okay.
we've been in contact, you know, like
Right.
here, you know, call here and there. She was my first yes. And
Okay.
so I told her that.
Amazing.
I told her, I was like, oh my gosh, you are my first yes. And then she's like, I want to give you a gift. I want to do something. I was like, I need a hug. Like right now, I need a hug.
I love it.
Like, I seriously, I felt like Wednesday, Thursday, I was like, oh, this is horrible.
Right.
And so to get that yes, I was like, oh my gosh, I want a hug. Forget the gift. Like,
Right.
and prior to that, because we had been talking, she had told me, she was like, so what do you do? Like, how did you get in this? And I said, well, my business is insurance, but you know, I'm doing this and everything. And she says, well, send me some cards so that you're known for what you actually do. Right? Yeah, okay. But I was so busy with the grant and just trying to get everybody, you know, to apply for it, that I never sent my business cards to her.
Oh, okay.
So when she said that she got approved, I said, you know what? I'm going to drive to you. I will take you the business cards that I owe you. And then this way I can at least put a face to the name and the text messages.
Right.
And so she was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's great. So, we drove out to her, and I just seeing her, and I just gave her this big hug, and my husband, you know, afterwards, he says,
yeah.
So would you do it all over again? I'm like, yes. So many people got denied, and it broke my heart. Right. So many people got denied. But just to know that there was at least, you know, it was just like, it sucks. It sucks. Right. But at the same time, I decided to look at it as a win, you know? So it was super.
No, definitely.
I was like, because I kept telling my husband, I don't ever want to do this again. And then so when I met this lady, you know, he was like, so would you do it again? It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, what an amazing story. Like, thank you for sharing that, because I like, for those of you that are watching, it radiates out of the screen. Like, it's the most amazing feeling ever. Like, and to be able to, you know, I reach the Latino community, you know, and being able to, you know, hit up all these different avenues to do it. Not a lot of people do that. They just, you know, we're going to advertise this way and put our message out there. And that's it. But to be able to like go past your comfort zone and go on Univision, and girl, like how serendipitous is that to have the person who saw you and then call you and then she got it. Like I that's just like makes my heart like so warm and fuzzy, because that's why we do it, right? It's not even about us sometimes or ever. You know, it's just about who can we help? How can I put myself out there for that one person who needs it? If nobody needs it, that's fine. But maybe later on, somebody as well. I was having a conversation with a friend about that, and we were talking about just serving others and kind of leading with that before dollar signs, and just both of us also being small business owners. And it's like, when really the true win is when you can say like, yes, like I helped that person, and and you know, it benefited her and her family and her small business. Yeah. Like, that's just amazing.
Yeah, it really was. There was another one that I thought they weren't going to get it, and one other business owners actually got turned away. He went to the house and they said, oh no, you're not going to qualify. And so I said, you know what? Do it anyways. You're not going to lose anything. Do it anyways. And he was like, well, they already told me no. And I said, it's fine. Well, I'll do it for you. You come in, everything. And yeah, same thing. And he got assistance. So, you know, he's like, oh my gosh, if you didn't like tell me. I'm like,
Right.
well, you don't lose anything. And that's what I'm saying. Even if you get a no at first, it's okay. Do it anyways, or do something different. There's other ways. And that happened with me with this new adventure that I'm having with AbleWorks, with another job. I was told no, and then I was, of course, being super dramatic, telling my husband, "Nobody wants me. They told me no." But the job that I had originally applied for fell through, so they didn't have that grant. And then another opportunity came, and then they called me and they said, "Hey, I know that fell through, but we have this now. Do you want to talk about it?" I'm like, "Sure." And and yeah, so they offered me, this other position. So it's like, even if you get a no at first, it's okay. You can be dramatic and like, nobody wants me. But then, everything happens for a reason, and it's okay. It's, so yeah.
Be okay. It's okay to not be okay.
Exactly.
That's so amazing. And tell us a little bit about your new role and what you're going to be doing.
So AbleWorks is a faith-based organization, and it's a nonprofit. They are originated in Palo Alto. So they're fairly new to Stanislaus, Modesto area. So I'm excited about that because it's, I feel like I get to grow with them, and I'll be their project analyst. So we, again, teamed up with other wonderful nonprofit organizations here in Modesto. And it's just to help the youth to have healthy relationships with, with one another, with boyfriend, girlfriend, with, just focusing on themselves and abstinence, and just trying to prepare them for, well, I don't want to say the real world, because I mean, even if they're young, they're in the real world, but you know what I mean, like adulthood,
right.
Adulthood world and relationships. And yeah, I'm super excited about that. I think that it is important to try to reach out to our youth and get them a little bit younger to try to help. It's okay to make mistakes, don't get me wrong, but if you can learn without making them, I mean, another win.
Right. No, so true. I love that. How exciting. And I think, we were talking a little bit offline that this year really is no rules, right? And opportunities, like, sometimes they come, sometimes they go. It's just been a crazy year, but like through it all, like I think the unexpected happens, right? Because like you said, that, oh, well, this didn't work out, but wait a minute, like this other branch opened up and it's like, it worked out great. Yeah. And I think that's a key point to also take away and let everybody know, is that it's okay to try again. I used to have this like built-in narrative of like, well, if that opportunity fell through, then I'm just not going to apply. I think it was a couple years ago, having the photography background, I was so excited. There was a grant for Sony called Alpha Female, and I did all this footwork. I had all these different people help me to apply for it. And basically, you're going to be a photographer in residence working, remotely, and do these different projects for Sony. And I was super excited and crushed when I got the rejection letter. But I thought, okay, that's it, because they're going to see my name and I'm not going to apply again because they're going to know the first time I got rejected. And then I was like, wait a minute, like it's my own false narrative. Like it is totally okay, Dominica, like just apply again.
Yeah, we definitely have to learn to be nicer to ourselves, and yeah, it's important to be nice too.
Right. Totally. Well, my friend, our time is coming to an end. This conversation is so good. And I know we definitely can be longer, but I want to make sure that I honor your time. And so is there any final thoughts that you want to share with anybody? And then also please mention the links for everyone to connect with you.
Yeah. So I guess my biggest thing would be just like we were talking, just continue to move forward, continue to try, and just to help as many people as we can along the way. I think the reward in that is even more so than just our destination, but just continue to work hard at whatever you're doing. And if you feel like you're comfortable, do something else.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah, just continue to move forward and, help those around you. I am on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. So you can follow me there, or, we can catch up, chat, whatever it may be. So that's it.
Awesome. For sure. And I think definitely, if you're watching, connect with us through YouTube. We will stream on Roku first, and then a couple of weeks later, you can find the episode on YouTube through Chicana Inc. Continue the conversation with us. We want to know what you're going through small business, having a small business. If there's any challenges or any wins that you want to celebrate, any advice, like plug it into the comment section, because we can all help each other. And then also, definitely, if you're a fan of the podcast, listen to the audio and then keep the conversation going. Definitely connect both places where we will have clickable links so you can directly plug into Adriana and then also plug in with me. And so our time has come to an end. So my friend, thank you for having this conversation with me. I know there'll be plenty more of where that came from. And we will see you on the next episode of Cafecito and Conversation. So we will say bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
But all my stress.